That's a thing that I've noticed online a lot. Oh, EDM pro tip. Tune your kick. Dude, shut up.
This is hilarious. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Deadmau5. I think he is a billion times better producer than I ever be. But I have to point out some of the things in this video. This is a really short clip, so I really don't know the whole background in it, but it goes like this.
BM producers these days, like, oh, you gotta tune your kick. You gotta tune your kick to the bass. I'm like, bro, kicks don't make bass. Kicks make kicks.
You got to love the Deadmau5 rants. They are really the best.
Bass makes bass. Use bass for bass. You know, use a sub-osc or, you know, some kind of thing. You know what I mean? A kick drum is not a bass line. A kick drum is just literally, it could be a punchy little transient. It could be some...
Deadmau5 goes through in this video and says that the kick drum is a transient, or there's no point of tuning it, more or less. And he has a really good point with having that short kicks are oftentimes better your production. But before that, let's take a look what a kick is. So I have an example here from a track that's from Adriatic. It's an Atlas remix from Stefan Bosin, sounding like this. I took this one because you can clearly see the kick and the length and the shape, like a medium to long kick. So it's not a short kick, but it's a relatively long kick. Doesn't mean that we should be using the length of this kick. It's just an example. A kick often has three different elements in it. The transient, the thumb, and the tail. And transient is something extremely short. It's just here to help you the kick cut through the mix, sounding like this. Then you will have the thumb, and the thumb is oftentimes a very fast pitch envelope. So the pitch will be changing super fast, creating this kind of sound, I will say. Sounding like this in this case. It could be sometimes longer, shorter. It really depends on the total length of the kick. And then this will be completely with the tail. And this is the part actually that you can clearly hear the pitch of the kick in some cases. And in this case we have this. This is a sine wave. This could be coming from a synthesizer. In this case, it's coming from the kick. The source really doesn't matter at all. As long as you have this tail, we will be able to hear the pitch of a kick. That being said, I think the biggest misconception here is that when I, for example, say tune your kick, I really don't mean you should tune your kick to the root key of your track. Let's say you are in the A minor, you don't need to tune your kick to A. You can tune your kick any note in the A minor, right? If you take a look at the A minor is consisting of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G basically. And in this case, the A is the root key. If you tune your kick to A, that will make your track very stable, kind of give you that feel. And if you tune to C or E, the third and the fifth, it will still give you a kind of stable feeling in your track. You can still tune it to B, D, F, and G. For example, in this case, F for A minor is used quite a bit often. It gives a bit more unstable sound, but it's kind of more dramatic melodic techno tracks, works really nice. But if you have a really long tail, like we look at Adriatic track, and if you just tune it like say C sharp out of the key, it will kind of really create a dissonance. And if you are not specifically looking for that dissonant sound, I really recommend, for example, in this case, tune it at least to C or D. Stay in the key, it will give more pleasant vibe. But I want to go back to the video again and continue what Deadmau5 says with other things.
The problem with the track is the kick is way too much. If you were to play this,
I think he's giving a feedback to a person that had a really long kick, I guess. So everything comes from there.
In a club or a big system, you would just hear 30 hertz across the fucking board. You'd hear nothing else. It would just be like, it would just sound like that. You can still use the same kick, but you gotta shorten the decay to like an 8th note.
The 8th note is kind of really not short kick. This is the amount of length kick can ever be, because the next kick hit will be here. So this is all the space that you can use. So for a long kick, I will say that this is around, after this, if the kick is longer than this amount around this area, then you have a really long kick. And if medium kick will be something like this here, and the short kick will be something like this. But he says the 1/8, so 1/8 is actually kind of like a medium-sized kick. It's not that short kick. The other thing that not every tail has to have an audible, stable key. I have an example. So this is the original kick sample that I coming from my Berlin pack, sounding like this. It's a beautiful kick, though it's a relatively short kick. It's like a, if we just don't count the super low here, it's kind of really short to medium kick, right? And this is the kind of the kicks that I also suggest people to use. Going too long kicks like Deadmau5 says really clutter your low band too much. But even though it's a short kick, I can still hear a clear E in this kick, and that's the reason that you see E here. And the tuner immediately says this is a E. I took the same kick and extended a little bit so that we can even make it even more audible here, the longer E. It's like, you can definitely hear that E. But now take a look at the longer kick, what I call E roll. What happens that the tail is still having this pitch envelope, but super slow. So there is no audible single pitch, but rather having an envelope that's ever changing the pitch sound. It's like, again. And there is no meaning of tuning this kick because this kick doesn't have a pitch or a fundamental frequency, as the frequency always drops down. So what I would suggest that when we talk about the kicks and the length of the kick, first you have to consider the genres that you are making. For example, if you are making hardstyle or heavy techno, I would say the optimum length is somewhere around here. This is kind of optimum for you. But if you are making maybe progressive house, this area could be your optimum length. If you are doing maybe hardstyle, this could be your optimum length. So you have to consider what style of track that you are making. And when it comes to the key, don't just go blindly tune every kick off to the root key. Consider playing around different notes in your key. I would suggest the first try 1, 3rd, and 5th, and then if you want to go a bit more drastic, more dramatic sound, maybe you can try the other notes in your kick. But I will still, even though it's a short kick, really don't see a point of leaving a kick that has an audible pitch on its tail out of the key of the tune. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.